Okay, hello again and welcome to the Sphere IT podcast. My name's Peter Ratcliffe. I'm broadcasting again from the Insurtech Insights event in London, where we've been meeting some really interesting people, picking up some knowledge around trends in the market. It's been a wonderful experience. I've got a really great guest right now called Andrea. She's come all the way from a company called Nirvana, which are a MGA specialised in a number of hyper-specialised insurance products. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good. So, like with all our podcasts, tell us about yourself and what you do.
Right. So, Andrea Garcia, I'm originally from Colombia. My background, I'm a lawyer from Colombia. I specialize in cybersecurity. I did my master's as well in insurance and risk management. And I've been in the London market over 20 years.
Wow. So you've been there, seen it and done it.
Yes. Well, not done it yet.
I think, you know, from what I understand of your background, you've been involved in like rolling out new products, making insurers more innovative in the product space. And I can imagine, regardless of what segment of business you're going after, it must be quite a complex thing to try to do. Not just from an ideation perspective, but the actual things you need to have in place to get a product going. So what sort of challenges do you have to face when you're starting in a new area, you're trying to build a new cyber product for an insurer, for example? What are the things you have to worry about?
Right, yes. So I guess because my background is also in broking, so I've been in both, actually have been pretty much in the whole cycle, so consulting, broking, and also underwriting. That is an advantage, especially because in my last role, I was very close to clients. So the biggest challenge is basically to find a product or to do a product that will be able to fulfill the needs of the clients. So if you don't really have that connection, you cannot start first saying to the clients, this is a product, and then you just need to buy it. It needs to be the other way around. So that's the biggest challenge, is trying to understand the needs of your client and put them together and be something that will be useful, but at the same time, it's going to create impact and add value. That's the biggest challenge. And then the second part is also, you need to be, just build the brand and the trust. Not just the product, but also in the company where you are. So distribution channels for MGAs, for example, that's key. And for that, you need people needs to have trust, not in the company, but in the underwriting and also in the product.
Okay, so I'm assuming the sort of strategy for setting up these sorts of products is focused on the low-hanging fruit, the customers that want this product, how they want it, what can we do to deliver it for them, build reputation through demand in your own network, and then start looking for that new business and start focusing on there. Excellent. Okay, so that sounds like a complex thing. I mean, the technology behind it as well, because you're operating with new data in a new business area. You're trying to look at remodeling data based on what you know today against what was historically known. So how do you set that up, and what sort of technologies are you reliant on? And, you know, we're going to say, where does AI and things like that factor into that?
Sure. Yes, the biggest challenge in that part will be having the data right. And, you know, I think that's very tricky for everyone at the moment, because there's not really enough data, although there's been a lot of work that has been done the last 5 years, still not enough data. So building the rating tool for a product like this, I guess I will focus on that, is a nice challenge to have, because you need to be ensuring that you're underwriting first, but at the same time, you're able to cover the needs of the clients. And that needs, at the moment, as we're going to mainly focusing on SMEs and mid-market, the rate has to be right for the client to be keen in transferring that risk solution to you, but at the same time, it needs to be profitable for you as an MGA.
Yeah, and also the risk around that potential loss or
how do you factor that, and the different key things that you need to take that into account to make sure that the ultimate price, the rate, the technical base for those rates are correct, so you're profitable, but at the same time you're able to be there for the long term and you know, be in that path with your clients.
I guess when you're looking at cyber, for example, and you're looking at particularly the risks that are involved and how they evolve, how they change so quickly. Like, what, 4 or 5 months ago, ChatGPT was still a baby, but now we're in version 4, going on to version 5. And I'm assuming that cyber threat, for example, is hugely accelerated through that open AI agenda. It's not necessarily, always going to be nefarious use, but there's going to be people that are going to be using it for those reasons. How do you keep up with the changes in the market, and how do you adjust? You know, you've built these models for years, you kind of understand them. What do you have to do? What's the planning?
When I guess the next generation, I would say on insurance is Insurtech. And for that reason, it's very important to be able to have support from technology, so then that you're able to cope with the evolving threats of cyber. So you will see that now are a lot of MGAs throughout Europe that are competing against the traditional carriers because they're embedding technology within their underwriting process. And with that, you're able to cope and understand the threats, but at the same time, you're helping your clients to have a better cyber hygiene. So the risk that's going to be transferred at the end is just the ultimate risk that you couldn't actually mitigate, but you are able to anticipate those threats throughout the whole cycle of the policy period.
That's the problem. Like the security standards have always been set in stone. I tick this box, and I've got a whole list of tick boxes, and they don't change until I review it at the end of audit in 6 months' time. And in today's world, that's a difficult
absolutely
thing with risk to manage.
Yeah, and that's why it's extremely important to be able to have technology that allows you to monitor live those risks and those threats that clients are having. So then, at the same time, you're helping them with the cybersecurity risk management, if you like. But then you're also protecting the book as an underwriter. And at the end of the day, you're really making sure you're covering the ultimate risk that needs to be transferred.
Sure. Okay, then. So over the next couple of years, how different will the cyber, because obviously there's a level of maturity now. I think it's a mature space, but always changing more than most. What's it going to look like in the next few years? You know, are we going to see a boom time for that marketplace? Is it going to double in value in terms of books of business? What do you think?
Yeah, I think cyber and also digital assets are here to stay. And you're seeing that now in the last couple of years, there's a lot of intake of new NDAs, new carriers coming into the market. There's a lot of interest from the ILS also market into this line of business. And I think that's going to continue, of course. I think there are some issues there, which is the systemic risk, and you have to take that into account to be a sustainable line of business. But if you're careful and you actually have talent, which is something that we're lacking in general within cybersecurity, I think you can tackle those, and we're going to be here. So you will see more carriers, but the traditional carriers moving more into Insurtech type of thing. A lot of technology embedded, so the product it won't be just pure cyber. It's just a lot of maybe it might be more cybersecurity than just cyber.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I think that's where we're moving, more cybersecurity first. All those nice things that you need to have in terms of technology, things that are going to help you to mitigate the risk, and then just the cyber solution. So it needs to change and continue to evolve. The traditional coverage, as we're seeing it now, is going to continue to evolve as technology and digital transformation continue to do so.
Sure. So really, your role in the future could change in that there's that consultancy piece around organising, your customers, things like security threat analysis, how they monitor it, how they manage it. It will be part of an Insurtech solution, which is underwritten by a financial product. Yeah, that's where it's going.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Excellent. That's well enlightening. I think it's brilliant. So look, thanks ever so much for your time, and I hope to have you on the podcast proper in a few months.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Andrea.
Take care. Bye.